All right, I want to go back to the breaking news. These 30,000 pages of documents from the Epstein files released overnight, including one which was a letter sent by Jeffrey Epstein, apparently in the days before he took his own life, to convicted sex abuser Larry Nassar, who, again, convicted of abusing so many U.S. gymnasts over the years. In that letter, Epstein wrote to Nassar, "Our president," and he was referring, it seems, to President Donald Trump at the time, "our president also shares our love of young, nubile girls." I want to bring in Nick Ackerman, Assistant Special Water Prosecutor. He joins us by phone. So, Nick, a letter like that from Jeffrey Epstein in the days before he took his own life, Epstein, of course, who had a plea deal from years before and was accused of sexual abuse at the time he wrote it, a letter like that written to another sex abuser, does it have any legal significance?
Well, I don't know how much legal significance it has. It certainly corroborates what we've heard from other victims, that Donald Trump had an inclination to grab women and misuse his position in various ways before he became president. And it's consistent with all these other people have said. And it's also consistent with Donald Trump's 50th birthday wish to Jeffrey Epstein. So whether or not this would be admissible in a court of law is a whole different story. But certainly from a political standpoint and from the fact that this is something that Jeffrey Epstein was saying, we know that they were very close and they're very good friends, and that this is pretty damning. I mean, to go on with this letter, it says in that letter, when a young beauty walked by, he loved to grab, snatch, whereas we ended up snatching grub in the mess halls of the system, meaning the prison system. And he signed it saying, "Life is unfair, yours, J. Epstein." So you've got two, essentially, abusers that are writing to each other. And in the course of that, Jeffrey Epstein references Donald Trump, who has gotten away with all of this.
It is worth noting, obviously, that President Trump or Donald Trump not charged with anything in connection with Jeffrey Epstein at all. It's also possible that Jeffrey Epstein was trying to stick it to Donald Trump, who was president at this point, the moment that the letter was written. Of greater, perhaps, legal significance, Nick, is the other information that came out overnight. A letter written by an attorney for the Southern District of New York, which indicated, and this is a verbatim, that Donald Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously had been recorded or that we were aware. And at times, on two of the flights, two of the passengers were women who would be possible witnesses in a Ghislaine Maxwell case. Now, again, this letter was written at the time, late in Donald Trump's first term when he was president, but the idea that Trump had been on a plane with two people who were witnesses, potentially, in a federal case, what's the significance there?
Well, the significance is that Donald Trump would, of course, be a potential witness as well, which means that he could have been called at the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell. So that's pretty shocking, the fact that he could have been called as a witness. That's something that I don't think has been reported before. And it also goes to Donald Trump's knowledge of what Epstein was doing. I mean, don't forget, he's been backing off at every point he can, claiming that he had no idea that Jeffrey Epstein was doing anything illegal. But as these Epstein files come out with the drip, 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 we have learned that Donald Trump knew a bit more than he's acknowledged. For example, there's the email of April 2nd, 2011, where it reflects an email between Epstein and Maxwell, where it says that Donald Trump spent hours in Epstein's house with Virginia, who is one of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein's sexual escapades.
Of course, Virginia Giuffre, before she died, said that Donald Trump did not do anything wrong or untoward. And it's also worth noting that the plane trips in question here were between 1993 and 1996, a time before Epstein was charged with anything. Nick Ackerman, a lot of context here, a lot of new information coming out. CNN continues to sift through it. Thank you very much.